back in our nation's capital at the Zoological Park of the prestigious Smithsonian Institution. On round one, I could not have introduced you to a zoo any better than I did by starting with the Asia Trail because it has pandas and I highly encourage you to watch it. We'll be continuing exactly where we left off, where one shared viewing area turns that Asia Trail into the elephant trails. Opened technically way back in the 1930s, but it was reconfigured twice in the 2010s. On this episode, beyond exploring the exhibit as we usually do, we'll dive back in time, give you some before and afters, discover where the trail got its name, and find out why I consider this to be the most innovative elephant home I've seen so far. Let's begin. Your journey can start in several ways, and even though technically the main entrance is all the way over here, we'll be starting here. At the platform that also makes up the viewing for the giant pandas, connecting this to the birdhouse, is a 70-foot-long bridge overlooking the entire complex. From one of the highest points in the zoo, you're actually not just overlooking, but going over top of what's called Habitat Number 3, a 30,000 square foot yard, the largest on the trail and the largest exhibit in the zoo, enclosed by natural-looking dirt walls nearly all around. This was part of the 2010 overhaul, and with this and their enrichment area, which we'll get to later, it expanded their elephant facility by almost exactly 50% more than its original outdoor space. And speaking of which, they still exist today, and you can see them from up here and down here. And even though there are 6 main viewing areas, you can't actually get up close to them like you could back then. So now it's time to go back in time. Giants in DC date back to 1903, but the Pachyderm House was completed in 1936. Here is the current layout, and here's what it was before the renovation. On all sides of the walls, it was once home to giraffes, hippos, rhinos, pygmy hippos, and even capybaras at one point. As you can see, the word outdated doesn't even begin to cover it. Not just on the inside, but on the outside too. So the zoo took action in 2010, and with the addition of Habitat 3, they took the giraffe yard and turned it into a private yard and a more suitable modernized barn. In 2013, they turned the rest of the elephant house into the Elephant Community Center, arguably the most engaging and detailed of its kind. On one side, you can learn about the zoo's history with elephants, their anatomy, their intelligence, and how many people it takes to equal the weight of just one. And the other side is entirely dedicated to the animals, a 150-foot-long viewing area looking at a 10,000 square foot rest area that gives them direct access to Habitat Number 2. I've only seen one other place so far that allows their elephants to roam inside and out on their own. Rather than several public stalls, it's now a single space. The cement ground was replaced with heated rubber flooring to prevent joint pain, and it's buried beneath 4 feet of sand. Elephants can come here to escape from the summer heat, apparently relieve any itches they may have in very creative ways, and you can watch it become a spa for the biggest pedicure you'll ever witness. And if you're interested in the area, the community center also acts as a reception room. Today, DC is home to 6 females, including Mbika, who was born way back in 1948. She worked as a logging elephant until she came to the zoo in 1961 as a gift from the children of India. And then there's also their musically talented Shanti, who, believe it or not, is actually skilled with the harmonica. And like many zoos with Indian elephants, they have one male, who in order to see you must exit and head on down the hill. Where along the way, I think if you look closely, you can still see the old hippo exhibit untouched. Residing on the left side of the community center on this day was Spike. They're 11.5 foot tall, nearly 13,000 pound bull. He was Miami born in 1981, but after Hurricane Andrew damaged their complex, he was transferred to the Calgary Zoo, where he met 3 females that he lives with today. From Canada, he went to Busch Gardens and then finally arrived in Washington in 2018, where according to the webcam, he mostly resides in this older 15,000 square foot Habitat No. 1 and another updated barn built just for bulls. And from what I've heard, DC will be Spike's forever home. But we're still not done. Going even further down is the true main entrance. As you follow the footprints, they eventually take you to what's called
the Elephant Outpost,
the final main viewing area that gives you one last look of the bottom of Habitat No. 3. But it's also the spot where keeper-to-animal training demonstrations occur that highlight an elephant's natural behaviors as well as learned behaviors that allows the staff to perform regular medical checkups. And that does it for us, but not for the animals. To the left of this is the start of the Elephant Trek, a narrow, mostly private pathway that takes them 800 feet up into the woods where it meets at a dead end by the birdhouse. So going up and back makes it a quarter-mile walk, giving this the name, the Elephant Trails. It took 8 years of planning, construction, and $56 million to complete. The zoo showed you don't need to throw out any of the old to make something new, taking what was once less than an acre and then making it over 1.5 and only counting the outdoor areas. The elephant trails can now hold between 8 to 10 elephants with the added bonus of their offspring if they may have any, which I should mention they do have some success in, most notably with Kandula, a male born in 2001, becoming the first ever Asian elephant born with the artificial insemination process. To get him to meet his own females, he was transferred to Oklahoma in 2015. One of the head curators said regarding the old elephant habitat, they wasted a lot of time trying to convince people they actually cared about the animals. But with the elephant trails, they don't need to do any more convincing, and they can now spend all their time teaching the public about elephants and conservation like they never did before. Thank you for watching, and if you'd like to see this for yourself right now in some way, you can go to the description below, and there's a link that leads you to a 24-hour live stream of the elephants.